everybody, and welcome to another Bible study. Go grab y'all's Bible. I give you a little bit of time to do that. You can cut up the volume and listen. Give you a few minutes to do that. Dust it off if you have to. So today we're talking about Jacob. Jacob later was given the name Israel, and he is regarded as the patriarch of the Israelites. Jacob was the third Hebrew with whom God had made a covenant. Now, if you're not familiar with the Bible, I'm sure that you've heard of Jacob's ladder. Maybe you heard of it through popular culture or other books, movies, films, whatever may be out there that you've heard of Jacob's ladder. But however, those things have nothing to do with the actual biblical story of Jacob's ladder. Now, Jacob's ladder was if you look at this drawing right here, or this painting right here, where you see the people standing on the ladder, these will be the children of Jacob standing all the way up the line, and one by one they will fall, which is going to be very important when we look at the vision that he had and the blessings that God was going to give. And so Jacob experienced a vision of the ladder or staircase reaching into heaven with angels going up and down it. He referred to it as Jacob's ladder. Well, not he, but it's been referred to as Jacob's ladder. He heard the voice of God, who repeated many of the blessings upon him coming from the top of the ladder. And each generation would fall one by one going up that ladder, right? So, according to the Midrash, Genesis Rabbah, the ladder signified the exiles that the Jewish people would suffer before the coming of the Messiah, the Jewish Messiah. So we say that to let you know that the Jewish people would suffer many exiles through history. I'm sure you heard of the Holocaust, and look at even before the Holocaust, the times that the Hebrews were slaves in Egypt, which is just as worse as the Holocaust actually. And so you know, when you look at here, you can see right there the line of people and the vision that Jacob had, and one by one he would hear God giving the blessings repeated each time one would fall. So that would signify the exiles, but they would continue to be blessed down the bloodline until the Jewish Messiah came. Very important. So why don't we eat thigh meat? That also has to do with Jacob. Jacob actually wrestled with an angel of God. So when Jacob was wrestling with this angel of God, the angel could not defeat him. Jacob wrestled with him all night, and by the morning, the only thing that the angel could do was basically injure his thigh. Now, here's where you're going to want to open your Bible so you can learn the story, read it, see it for yourself, where Jacob actually wrestles with an angel. Okay, so Genesis 32:24, and Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh. So by doing that, he actually injured Jacob's thigh. And we're going to keep going down this story, so I hope y'all got it turned to Genesis 32, starting at 24, and y'all are reading along with me in this. So let's go. Here we go. And the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. And he said, Let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said unto him, What is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed. So this guy's letting me know he's wrestled with men and God and prevailed. And so that's why his name is now Israel. And Jacob asked him and said, Tell me, I pray thee, thy name. And he said, Wherefore is it that thou doest ask after my name? And he blessed him there. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. And as he passed over Peniel, the sun rose upon him, and he halted upon his thigh, feeling that injury from the thigh. So therefore the children of Israel eat not the sinew which shrank, which is upon the hollow of the thigh, unto this day, this very day, because he touched the hollow of Jacob's thigh in the sinew, and it shrank. Caused problems throughout the rest of his life with his thigh, and as a remembrance of this, we choose to not eat thigh meat of any kind to honor Jacob's successful battle against the angel of God. So what's very important there was that God could have destroyed Jacob. He really could have. But he found favor with Jacob, and he decided to only let Jacob escape with the injury. So that is why we do not eat the thigh meat, to recognize not just Jacob's struggle with the angel of God, but also God's mercy he showed on Jacob. So it's very important that we understand that. So in the final days of, if you look at 49:33, and when Jacob had made an end of commanding his sons, he gathered up his feet into the bed and yielded up the ghost, and was gathered unto his people. This is talking about, even they believed back in the day that you're giving up the ghost. And so right there, 49:33, Genesis 49:33, we skipped ahead a little bit, giving up the ghost, Jacob. And Joseph fell upon his father's face and wept upon him and kissed him. And Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father, and the physicians embalmed Israel. And 40 days were fulfilled for him, for so are fulfilled the days of which are embalmed. And the Egyptians mourned for him 70 days. 70 days they mourned. So Joseph carried Jacob's remains to the land of Canaan and gave him a stately burial in the same cave of, and y'all can try to help me pronounce this one, I can't pronounce it, y'all see the word right there, as were buried Abraham, Sarah, Isaac, Rebekah, and Jacob's first wife Leah. And so have a lot of that must be a very impressive grave site to go with all those biblical heroes right there. Jacob's life was 147 years. Now let's take a look at some of the paintings. Rembrandt did a painting of Jacob wrestling with an angel. And obviously the Catholic Church has a majority of the good paintings out there. They've hoarded them away and have tried to keep them from other religious faiths and groups. But here's a example of Rembrandt, which I think is a very good deal. And so here's one with Michelangelo. It's a painting of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Judah, and it's in the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican City. And so yeah, that is a Michelangelo. And again, why I want y'all to have y'all's Bibles, because I don't like spoon feeding you the word. I hope I've given you enough here to spark your interest to go back and actually read the story of Jacob for yourself, because really you don't need nobody to guide you to do that. You just need motivation to do that. And there's a lot of key points on Jacob that you can go back and read, learn about, and start with Genesis and start with the story of Jacob, and do not expect nobody to spoon feed you. That is just wrong. And so let's do a recap. Here on the recap, here's some things that we learned. We learned about Jacob's ladder, why we don't eat thigh meat. We talked about Jacob wrestling with the angel. We did a biblical account on embalming and Jacob's burial. Those are all key points to at least motivate you or spark some interest for you to actually, when you cut this off, to read the Bible. Read it for yourself and spend some time. You might get quite a few chapters done if you're actually interested in it and not interested in being spoon-fed the word. But anyway, this is Preacher Timothy. I'd like to thank you for joining this quick Bible study, and I wish y'all all to have a good day. God bless.